All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have CrossFit athlete Hannah Hardy. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Not bad. So I do want to say something. So if you meet someone with a really Bostonian accent, Hannah Hardy. So it is.
Hey, I will take it. I mean, I don't know. It kind of has a nice ring to it, not gonna lie. I feel like it's better than a southern twang.
Yes, yeah, I agree. So when my wife and I were talking about kids' names and stuff, one of them was like a quick like thought was Harper. And so we were sitting at the beach and I'm like, hey Harper, grab me a beer. And so
Oh my
she's like,
gosh.
yeah, we're definitely not using that name. No way.
No, cannot. Like anything with like a sharp like A.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But anyway, I know that you were at Wodapalooza.
Yeah.
So have you officially recovered from Wodapalooza?
I've officially recovered. It wasn't like as much as of a beating as I thought. I think just because like there's only 2 workouts per day. Granted, there's one more day, but just like having 2 workouts, it's not too crazy. Only like the first like true beating day was the first day where it was, we all had to figure out the flip sled and
Mhm.
then go pretty much do like a really hard version of Fran.
Okay. All right. Very cool. So before we got into the workouts, I my goal last year was to make it to Wodapalooza. I didn't make it. I had so much FOMO watching on YouTube and like looking at everyone's Instagram feed, and I'm sitting there like, God, I wish I was there. Like, I just want to be there. Just 1 year, 1 year. And I had Matt O'Keefe saying, come on down, we'll give you VIP treatment and everything like that. And I'm sitting there like,
Yeah.
well, I want to go so bad, but then all of a sudden I couldn't make it, but which is fine. But can you tell me about like what is the atmosphere at Wodapalooza and like even like Vendor Village and like what were your views as an athlete there?
No. So okay, so this year, Loud and Live just changed pretty much everything. I don't want to say everything, but they actually changed the layout of the entire venue. So
Mhm.
it was new for all of us. They made Flagler a lot bigger so that way like people could actually sit in the stands. I mean, like in reference in 2020, if you weren't in the stands probably 3 hours before like an elite heat went, you weren't getting in the stands and there was a huge line.
Mhm.
And this year there like I didn't run into any lines. There's only like a couple of like a couple night workouts where maybe there's like 2 people that security was like you can't come in, and then I don't know, after a little bit they're like actually there's room like on that side.
Mhm.
So that was a really cool, but the whole atmosphere at Wodapalooza, it really is like it's like a music festival and CrossFit just packed into one. And I love it. I was like, I actually really did like it this year because there wasn't the high stakes of a games ticket.
Mhm.
And I've actually never been to Wodapalooza before it was a sanctional. So this was like the first year. It was fun. Everything was laid back, or at least all the athletes felt laid back. There was no tension, and it just looked like everybody was having a great time. And I know like everybody was having a great time until like the rain, and then that kind of
Yeah.
dampened everything. No pun intended. But other than that, it is literally a party. Everyone's having fun. Everybody is just smiling. There's so much stuff to do from Vendor Village, which they have like pretty much everybody um close to the water. So Vendor Village was right in between Flagler, and then they had another state, a couple other stages,
Mhm.
and Bayside, which is the one like right on the water. And there's just a huge walkway through it, and then the more bigger partners had, of course, just like the bigger booths that were kind of like off to the side. But so that was kind of, and then to be honest, I have like no clue where the food was. Like the food was just like in a different location than usual, and um with us, I felt like since we just brought our food, I smelt it. It smelled amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, because it was near Flagler somewhere, but it was still like that same party vibe, and the fact that there was no games ticket, just money, which I mean,
Yeah.
obviously everybody wants money, but it was a lot more fun in my opinion than years prior.
Yeah. So did you walk through Greenwich Village once in a while?
Yeah, so I would go to Sharpen the Axe all the time just to say hey to the guys.
Hmm.
And I mean, it was super packed. Um, and from there, it's like you could for as athletes, like we had like a virtual swag bag, so we go around to everybody, scan a QR code, get to know everybody, which is really cool because like there's some companies that you never get to see like anybody that truly works. You only see them on social media. So it was really cool to like actually get to know the owners and or like talk to Whoop and some of their employees. Or with TYR, I think it's really cool that they're in the CrossFit space and I got to like ask about their like first experience doing something like that large at a CrossFit event. So it was really cool because you finally like get to know the brands a little bit more.
Yeah. And another thing is it's a good way to get your name out too. So if like, Tier could be a potential sponsor for you, you could
Right.
say, hey, I'm doing this. This is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. I love your products. Maybe we can collaborate or something like that. Or who knows?
Exactly. And I mean, I think it also just puts a name with a face, like especially if they see an application or like you said, like maybe they just like you right then and there.
Mhm.
So like I got to sport like a tier bathing suit during the row swim run event. And like that was awesome. And they got to see it. So um it's really cool. Just I like getting to know like different brands. Like I mean, obviously I know all the people at Misfit and Sharpen the Axe, but
Yeah.
I mean, I get to bond with them more because it's not like I go up to Maine that often. Or get to learn more about like some of my sponsors that I've only talked to them through email and Instagram.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
really
very,
cool.
very cool. So if like say like for me, if I go there, like if I went there this year, what
Yeah.
would be the first spot for me to go for me to check out like Wodapalooza?
Um, so like I mean, like as in like what would be like the first thing you like walked into, or like you have to do this if you
I
go to
have
one?
I have to do this.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. Well, when you first walk in, you would hit Fat Ash cookies. So obviously you stop and get a cookie because you
Yeah.
have
Mhm.
to. But other than that, like the Noble was packed and they always had clothes, and that was like a cool experience in itself. Um, but really seeing Bayside and seeing Flagler just like in person
Mhm.
is so cool because I don't know, like I was really glad they had a free live stream because a lot of people like didn't go on Flow Elite, or they just didn't like that they'd have to pay for a month of Flow Elite when
Yeah.
it was on there. And just getting to be in that environment in person, just like under the lights, like even though you are in the stands, you're so close to the athletes that you feel like you're with them. And it's I feel like I mean the spectators make the party vibe. I
Yeah.
mean, we try to as athletes, but of course like we're trying to be serious about our competition, but seeing just how fun everybody's having, and like, they bring Miami to Wodapalooza. I don't necessarily think it's the athletes. So just like being in those environments are super cool. I love like the spectator events, and then if you are a spectator, you should do the gauntlet because I mean you can just sign up for it. You get this power hour of a workout that they like set up a whole entire stage for it. And then this year it was like a 4-day competition.
Yeah.
So you got to go through, you know, you got to compete the entire time too.
Mhm.
So you might as well just do that. Like there's a part of me I was like, maybe I should have just done the gauntlet and just gone to the final or something like that. No, I loved my experience.
Yeah.
but
Very
uh
cool.
but yeah, like I thought that was super cool, and like seeing that grow. So like yes, so you have to do the gauntlet, and then just I know that even just sitting in the stands might suck, but like once it's nighttime or when like the elite heats are going, it is just it's so fun. It is so fun just to be with like a screaming crowd and seeing everybody just like riff off of one another.
Yeah, very cool. And I love it how they still have like the adaptive athletes coming in, and like the,
Right.
masters athletes, even the teen division, like pretty much everyone was there. Even like, like scaled and intermediate and like RX and like elite, like everybody can have a chance to work out there, which is I think is really cool.
Yeah, and like that's why like I really like I love Wodapalooza because like everybody gets to compete. That's why I love Granite Games when it was on its own
Mhm.
because everybody gets to compete. And these are just like one-off events that like, the CrossFit community doesn't have like a lot of moments that we all get to come together like other than the CrossFit Games, or if you wanted to go to Rogue, if you want to go to Dubai, I wish I could, but I can't afford it.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody like zones in on the CrossFit Games. Everybody zones in on Wodapalooza, and like you said, you get to compete 'cause there's so many different divisions. There's spectator workouts you can do all the time, so you can
Mhm.
participate there. There's a cool VIP section. You basically just like had your own beach and then like your own like basically couch area overlooking Flagler, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That we broke into. And just like different things like that it's I mean, you just can't experience anywhere else.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So obviously, you said you were one of the questions I had next was what was it like competing? But you said it's like you already said it's like really chill, relaxed, and it wasn't like you're gaining for a spot at the CrossFit Games. It's like it was more chill. So other than like doing it the previous years, you said it was more chill. So what was it like the atmosphere? Was like obviously people were trying to win, but
Right.
what was it the atmosphere for you guys like working out?
So with us, I mean, I don't want to. It was very unfortunate. One of my teammates was sick, and then one was injured. So going into this, so we kind of had like a different. We just wanted to go in, have fun. This was like we never get to compete together. Like I
Mhm.
haven't competed with them since Granite Games was on its own, and now it's like okay, we get to do the team of three. They're my best friends, and we just get to throw down and just have fun. And again, like that's just like what Wodapalooza is for. So for us, it was just so much fun just getting to know the other athletes and reconnecting with just like athletes we've seen at other competitions in the past,
Mhm.
and just warming up together, laughing that, like at the shorty bar, everybody was probably just gonna go fail, even though like we're warming up with regular bars, but that's okay. And just like I don't know, like it felt like it was a community of like we're all in this together. And you like I think it's just because it is that laid back environment. It is supposed to be like a fun comp right before the season starts where we really have to get serious. It's also a place where we get to see like where our fitness is at, because of course we're still training, but like this is a good time to see if like our weakness work has been paying off.
Mhm.
So that's how I went into this competition, just seeing that what if what my coach and I have been working on has been paying off, and it has. And I'm just like, okay, like we're on the right track. We're doing all the right things. And I think a lot of people like use it as like a reconnection with friends and getting to compete with girls that like we don't get to all the time because we live like all over the country or all over the different parts of the world,
Yeah.
and then just see where our fitness is at.
Very cool. Very cool. So now I want to talk about the workout. So
Yeah.
obviously you talked about the sled and that workout. So how do you guys communicate, like especially with other than your friend being sick and injured? So with that movement, I know it was kind of a different movement than like the regular pig and whatnot.
Right.
So how do you guys communicate throughout this whole workout, and how did you guys attack that first workout?
So it was kind of weird because it was thrown on us in the athlete briefing that there was a minimum work requirement that was not on the website, and they just threw it at us that day saying, hey, if all three athletes don't get through the GHDs, you have to sit out the round, like the next round, and then you get to compete in the third.
Yeah.
And all of us just kind of like look at each other and stare, because I mean, I know for a fact I reached out to like other teams, and other teams reached out to me asking if that third person like even got to touch the pig or tire or whatever they're using to practice. And that kind of threw us for a loop. So we were very optimistic. We're like, we're going to get to the flip sled, and we've had practice on it before. Luckily, like, I've seen it in grid league because it is one of our implements. So I lucked out there, and I've also been at competitions with the flip sled, and my friends got to find like other gyms with flip sleds. So I felt like we had like a little bit of a leg up. But and really like the difference is I feel like there's just like different ways you can flip the flip sled, whereas the pig, you only can kind of like go from the sides and lift it.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can actually like kind of make it into a power clean, so you can grab it with a pronated grip and just curl and press it up. You can just grab it like underneath the bar and kind of reverse curl it if you want. So there's like different ways to attack it, just like based on your anatomy or what's just better for you. So I think it's like more versatile than the pig.
Mhm.
But we went into that workout, like I said, very optimistic that we're gonna get through those GHDs, and it backfired entirely. The heavy rope, like none of us have ever used the rogue rope, and it was just us just kind of staring at each other. And I know like my friend was like one of our at least on the first round, my friend was struggling on the flip sled. I only got there with probably like 10 seconds left and got 2 quick flips, and then from there my workout was over because I was going to go first that second round,
Mhm.
and then I was going to be third the third round, so I wasn't even going to make it anywhere. So I kind of just sat back and I was like, you guys have fun doing some double unders and GHDs. So, but I feel like that happened to a lot of teams. So I'm really glad once it came to the men's teams, they're like, hey, you guys don't have that minimum work requirement, because really none of the girls, like there was only 2 girl teams in my heat that got all 3 girls through. And I felt so bad for them because they only had a 1-minute rest and then they had to go again.
Yeah.
Whereas at least we had like a 5-minute rest before we could go again, or even more than that. So I felt so bad for them. But
Yeah.
at least like for the men, they learned from that event. So that was pretty much, it was just a very crazy event just because they threw something very unknown at us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I've actually seen some people like hold it on the sides
Yeah.
and lift it up that way. So, I mean, that looks like a whole like central nervous system nightmare just from the GHDs and that flip with the heavy, flip. So I can't imagine, like, luckily you guys had like a good amount of break. So
Right.
you get ready for the next one. So how after that workout, how do you guys like manage to recover and all that kind of stuff before like, the Miami bar complex?
Yeah. So at least like there was actually considerable time between workouts. So our Airbnb was pretty close to the venue. So we'd either Uber or scooter back. We use scooters a lot. That's like another part about Miami. Like there's scooters everywhere and you just get to have fun. We like followed Justin Cutler through the streets of Miami, like literally like the line median where we're not supposed to be, like in the middle of the road, we're like scootering and we're like, he's probably like trying to kill us, but that's fine. But I digress. We could like easily get back to the hotel, chill out, get like actual food in. Or we just bring snacks to the venue. Like I said, like I went to Sharpen the Axe a lot just to hang out with them. And that was like something where I could just ask how their day was going. So like I could get my mind off of working out for just a little bit, which helped a lot.
Yeah, very cool. Now the next workout was the Fran air bike workout.
Yeah.
So how did that go for you? And like what were your thoughts and how did your team attack it? So pretty much this whole podcast is going to be like how you communicate and how you attack it. So
yeah. No, so this one, like we are all team athletes. So we were very excited about the worm, even though it was a 4-person worm with 3 people, but luckily they situated the bags So even though it was going to be floppy, they only had like 3 heavy bags. Like at Granite Games, they actually added like 100 and then like 3 80-pound bags, which was, we literally couldn't, it was devastating. But Wodapalooza is like, hey, like we got you. So we were super confident going into it. And I would say it went like really well. The synchro chest bar just threw us off for a little bit. Just because all 3 of us had to be synchro. I feel like if it was just 2, it would have been fine. But having like one person kind of like off to the side and between rigs just threw us off a little bit. But I think just capitalizing on the worm where we could is like how we like did like semi well in that event.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other stuff, like we could have been like a little bit better.
Now is the worm the same weight as the men's, or like, because I've never touched a worm before.
Yeah.
So like, is it like different weight classes, like weights for like the worms for the guys and the girls?
Yeah, so it was different weights. For Wodapalooza, it was the front bag was I think 65 pounds for the girls in the front, 70 in the middle, and then 55 in the back. And then there was large filler bags, like 6-pound filler bags. Rather than like normally the filler bags are in between the red lines, whereas these like those were also like a considerable size, just like our like actual weighted sections. And then the guys, I can't remember the weights off the top of my head, but I think they're around like 70 to 90 pounds, just distributed within the worm.
Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. So how did you feel after the Fran workout?
I love that workout. My teammates did not like that workout, but I think our worm strategy was super good. Like we didn't have to drop it. There was like one miscommunication where it just ended up on different shoulders, and then I'm like, oh, I can easily just press this over my head because it's 65 pounds. Forgetting that there was slack in the worm. And actually one of the Misfit Athletics photographers has me like, you just see me like push it up, and then like the worm just like pushes me back and just has a frame by frame of me falling. And I'm like, that was perfect. Like this needs to become a GIF right now.
Yes.
But that was like our only hiccup on the worm. Like I said, it was just the chest bar that gave us a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And then of course just like the echo bike just hurts,
Yeah. So with the chest bar pull-ups, did you have like one person on the end that was like watching the other two, athletes, so she could actually like say like, okay, next, go?
So we actually, our plan was our middle athlete was so the person in the middle was just the one calling, being like, hey, let's do 5, ready, go, jump up to the bar.
Got it. Okay.
That way, just like both like the in athletes could hear. I know like one of my friends, like she said like she literally only could hear like the person right beside her. So I felt bad whenever like she couldn't hear the judge because she was in the middle. So like I was the one being like, no, we still have reps left, don't drop it. So that was our plan, but it was just like we were also like the people on the ends were really comfortable of just turning our head and just being able to just go off of that middle person. Like I said, we've had team experience before, and so from that it was very easy just to get synced up. Like the one in the middle, like I've done tons of sanctioned events with her.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was just like, picking up where we left off a couple years ago.
Very cool. Very cool. So the next day, you guys, the first workout was the Miami Bar Complex, so I did notice you guys had short bars. I was actually shocked that they didn't spread you guys out even more and to use a regular bar, because obviously there were like 30 lanes or something like that. And like, yeah, even for, the guys and like and the girls, what I've seen, they were like, you guys were in pretty tight. And yes. And also that short bar doesn't really give you the whip that it actually does in a normal bar. So how did you guys do?
It was a doozy for sure. Like in the warm-up area, my teammates and I, we hit the middle bar just fine. We're like, we'll just leave 205 to out there. We felt very confident 195. We knew it was a short bar going out there. But with me, like it was like having the experience at different competitions, more and more like the short bar has like hasn't affected me as much as like the first time I've ever used it. Like that was such a shock
Mhm.
to now it's like, okay, like if I see it, it's all good. I know what to expect. So I was thinking like, you know what? It's gonna be fine. It's just gonna hit a little bit harder after like, we rest for 25-30 minutes before going out on the floor. Um, no, it wrecked me a little bit more than I originally thought. It wrecked all of us because we basically each failed, and then we're like, wait a sec, we need to stand up with the bar. And then finally, like we started getting reps. And once we could finally just like find a rhythm, like we could bang it out. We couldn't bounce clean, like you said, like the whip is just not there. And um I felt like like in the warm-up area it felt good, and then like out there it was only the hang cleans though. Like the
Yeah.
front squat and the shoulder overhead felt pretty solid, but man, you don't realize like how much you use the whip for a hang clean, especially if it is like a higher percentage. Um, and like using like a bounce out of the hole, because it just feels like you have like metal plates on there and you're using some stiff bar and you'll just get in the bottom. You're like, man, I can't stand up now.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was watching the live feed on it, Briley Hansen was literally bouncing it off her quads. And like, I mean, I was shocked. I'm like, how is she able to whip it like that? Especially, well, I mean, she's got like big quads, so
Right.
that kind of helps like the bounce and stuff. But I was like, holy crap, she's like ripping it through like the whole time. And I was like, there's no way her legs are are gonna be okay after this.
No, I am like so impressed at that Freaking Fitness team. I mean, of course, like it's really cool because I know them all from Grid,
Yeah.
and just seeing them just go out and just take names on that workout was so cool.
Mhm.
And like when I got to go back and just like see Briley do hang cleans like nobody's business, I'm like, oh my gosh, goals. Like I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like Heather, like literally the front squats looked like they were like 95 pounds, which is insane. And I don't even know how Winter just like easily just did all the jerks on her own. Like she was like, hey, you don't have to do any jerks, my friends. Like I'll do them.
Yeah. She's like, give it to
So
me.
they literally murdered it, and I couldn't have been more proud of them because I knew like as soon as that event came out, like they were like gonna win it.
Yeah.
Just because I know their background and I know how well they work together, but B, they love a barbell.
Mhm. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So, the next one was the Bayside chipper in the afternoon. So they added a new, movement, was like the front rack kettlebell step overs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of biased. I was a little worried about that one because obviously you could lose your balance and like, clip your foot at like the edge of the box and, whatever happens. But, what did you think about that new movement? And, what did you think of the workout?
So luckily for teams, we actually didn't have that movement, but I actually worked with like my games teammate Kim was going individual, and then one of my teammates was also going individual. So I got to play around and just like help her like figure out like how to sit the kettlebells, because I remember like the lunges at the CrossFit Games in 2020 where they just prop it up on their traps
Mhm.
and seemed like very smooth. I was scared, at least just because it is like that longer box and it is a soft box, and that like give just kind of doesn't help people sometimes. And I know like some people did like roll an ankle or two.
Yeah.
I just felt so bad because um it's just for them because it was at night. I can't even see like anything as is at night.
Mhm.
Um so I was kind of worried. I'm glad that there wasn't like a lot more injuries or ones that they said like no, I have to pull out. But it's a cool movement. I do like that they brought it up, but maybe like if they just like for RX intermediate scaled, they had wood boxes. So I think like that actually would have been a little bit safer for the step overs.
Yeah. Smaller area to step on.
Right.
And then you can kind of like, don't even have to stand up. And then you can kind of just like squat down a little bit and just get to the next area. So,
Right. So that like that's like the only critiques, but I get why they use the soft boxes, and it was like, like the teams had to use them because we had the really tall box jumps and box jump overs. It's not like you're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna move all of these soft boxes out, which are a pain to move, and then bring all of wood boxes on, which are also a pain to move.
Yeah.
So it's like I get why they of course had to use the soft boxes, but maybe just in the future, if they have that kind of step over, just taking effect that maybe they should just use a regular box.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So how was the workout for you guys on that one?
It was like thought it went really well. Like Austin and I, my coach, we've been working Legos rope climbs, and
Mhm.
those are like the best my Legos rope climbs have ever felt in a workout, which is really cool to see. I think the touch and go, like it surprised me how many people touch and go the sandbag. I think like in the warm up area, people were struggling with it,
Yeah.
especially just making sure the bag touches and not just your hands. And so all of us were just kind of like figuring it out. And then once you're out there on the floor, I mean, adrenaline is everybody's best friend. I mean, everybody's ripping this bag. And my it was just we couldn't like figure out all too much. So I ended up being the only one touching go in the sandbag, whereas my friends dropped. So that like brought us back, and then we just like couldn't catch up after that, just because I think everybody was like ripping out like sets of 10, and we were just trying to transition fast.
Yeah.
But at least from my standpoint, just things that I've been working on, like those felt great, which was awesome for me. Like I'm known at Wodapalooza for doing like this hand over hand legless rope climb, and literally just having like no kip left. So knowing that I did not get to failure this time was so great.
Very
But that's
cool.
just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's like, it was like so cool just like seeing how fast like people go and just looking at me like, wow, like what everyone's capable of.
I agree. It's just I sit there and I'm like, how are these people able to do it? It's insane. So it's
So, I mean,
crazy.
I'm out there on the floor thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So I believe the next workout was the run, swim, run workout after the
Yeah,
next day. Yeah. So um I really didn't watch much of that because I thought it was pretty boring. So to be honest with you,
don't even worry about it. I also would not have watched it if I was
yeah.
a spectator. I would have been
So
like, at night.
yeah. So were you next to that group where they're like they had two swimmers make it to the running part, but the other one didn't make it?
No, so that was RX. I did
Okay.
have some friends like in that heat with them, and then I actually had friends in the men's heat right after.
Mhm.
Like, so I felt so bad for everybody. Like the girls heat, like obviously finished, but like no, I don't think anybody knew that the men's RX teams. First of all, they make it was on a timer, so like everything had to work like clockwork for this event. So like but it ended up being like some teams were on runners as like other team like the next heat was coming in, and I don't think anybody realized that, but the men's team heat started rowing and took off to the swim entry point
Mhm.
and are like wave them down like no, like we're missing somebody. um and there's all this confusion there. I'm pretty sure they also send the second guys heat, like thinking, like they didn't say like, hey, you can just leave now
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the event is just over. Like we can't do this. So like all the men's teams just died doing a 3K row, and then they got to the water, which is the fun part, and their event gets canceled on them. So I felt really bad for that, but I'm glad that girl was found.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and plus, like having like 2,000 athletes in the water in one day.
I I commend Wodapalooza for doing it, and I mean that's a big reason why I love Wodapalooza. Like I have a swim background, like I want to swim because I know we're gonna do well in a swim
Mhm.
event, and I don't know if it's like maybe you send like elites at night, or you just have to take into account that maybe you have to split the swim event in 2 days, especially if you are adding more and more divisions.
Yes.
uh just like thinking like for next year, I don't want to say like make the swim only like elite only. Like I think that like, takes like like a big part of what Wodapalooza was like out of the event.
Yeah.
So maybe either just making sure it's a shorter event. Like in 2019, it was a sprint. It was basically a ski sprint into a swim into a ski sprint. It was a very short workout, and
Yeah.
just keeping it just as very short workouts. And I thought it was a cool concept. Like it was cool going from Tina Hills and then swimming like the Bayside. Like that's like so cool that we get to be on 2 stages. And it was a very cool concept. But once like night comes, it's either you have to throw the elites in the water because at least like they probably have like the best experience in the water
Yeah.
out of all the divisions, or split it up between 2 days.
I agree. Yeah. So what was it like running barefoot on the treadmill?
It actually wasn't bad. In practice, I was like kind of nervous about it. I actually taped my toes because I have very sensitive hands when it comes to like pull-up bar stuff and holding on, and apparently it happens on my toes too. So I actually taped it. I like taped my big toe just so I want to get caught just like in between the treads.
Yeah.
And once like the event started, like I said, once the adrenaline's going, you're running at like the same speed that you would without like with shoes on. So luckily we did get the row with shoes. It like kind of dawned on me, like I was more concerned about the run, and then I think like 2 days prior I'm like, wait, we have to row without shoes. So it was really good that we got to row with the shoes on, because I think that would have been way more uncomfortable than the run.
Yep, I agree, with the strap over and it's like just rubbing against the top of your feet. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like we already had to like adapt to the assault rower like in a very short period of time. So it would just be like add like more chaos. I'm like, I just would have used my arms. I just wouldn't use my legs.
Yeah. Speaking of the assault rower, like what were your thoughts on trying it out for the first time?
So again, like I was lucky because my teammates gym had an assault rower, so I got to like have like a little bit of prep on it. So since it is like literally just like the assault bike fan, so I think it pays to be a bigger dude. Granted, that's what like all machines are, but it's if you need to get a stronger pull and slow down your strokes per minute, it's very beneficial to just get that strong pull, wait for it, and be very consistent rather than keeping the strokes really high, which unfortunately is how I row normally. So it was just like a little bit of just testing it out at my friend's gym, making sure like all of my warm-ups at Wodapalooza, I used the assault rower. So I just got more and more confident on it. And I mean, with each exposure to it, I was getting down to my normal splits on a C2 rower. But I think it's just like those little nuances of, oh, you need a stronger pull rather than multiple pulls. Or, you know, sometimes like the like your stroke might be just like a little like off of timing than your normal, and the split will go up like 10 seconds. So you kind of have to like bring that back down. So it pays to be just slow, consistent, strong pulls on the assault rower.
Okay, very cool. Because I've been on rowers, like water rowers. Have you ever been on those before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it looks like a big washing machine where you pull it, and then all of a sudden, like the meters don't keep on going; it just stops.
Right.
And then
Luckily, it keeps going.
yeah. And like you're like trying to do like an actual workout, but like I don't know, like a 200-meter row on this like washing machine, you know, rower, and it's just like pulling, and you're like, okay, you know, you're stopping at like 9 meters, and it should be going to like 12 or even further before I do my next pull. And you're just like, oh my God, it's the worst. And then like pushing water doesn't help either. So
oh no, not at all. I don't know. I feel like everything should just be a Concept 2 rower, and it's just like, you know, like Concept 2, they had, you know, they were a huge sponsor of the event in 2020. I don't know what happened, but they could have just brought them back. But I guess it's really cool. Just like, I mean, it's a new implement. It was just like the flip sled. It was just like the Rogue heavy rope. Like a lot of us, like normally that's just reserved for the games athletes. So it was really cool that we got to use that as well. So it was really cool that, and like, you know, the kettlebell stepovers. So it was cool that they're trying new things out.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, I think the next workout after that was a celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a celebration 10, sorry. And then it was, you and your how are you, like, obviously you're doing like handstand holds and like handstand walks and all that stuff. And so like how were your shoulders like absolutely fried after that?
Um, yeah, they were pretty on fire the entire event. I love that event because it was very team oriented, and that's again like where we thrive. And I really think Saturday's where we hit our stride because like the roast run was a really good event for us. One of my teammates was a collegiate swimmer, so like she got out of the water like second, and then I wasn't like too far behind her, so it was kind of like, all right, we're doing great. And I think like that momentum, it was just like, all right, we're just going to go murder ourselves out there, and whatever happens happens. We had like just like a strategy. So like one person would take more handstand push-ups, will be on the light overhead squat bar, someone would just do like the last little bit, be on the heavy one, and we just kind of had that flow. And I think just like since it was a night event, it was everybody just screaming, the music's so loud. I had such a blast in that workout, and I felt like I was just smiling the entire time.
Very cool.
So no, like it was really cool, and it was like such a special moment for Wodapalooza too, just because it was celebrating the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
So I think like just like all of those like emotions and just the whole atmosphere, that was like one of my favorite events of the weekend.
Very cool. And then the fireworks, was it the fireworks on that day or was it the day before?
I think it was the day before
Okay.
because we got
Okay.
to see him. We got to see him from our Airbnb, and I remember just like seeing that on the like on an Instagram post that there's gonna be fireworks, and we were kind of like debriefing the day back at the Airbnb, and then of course we're just hearing them go off, and my friend's like, "What's going on?" And like luckily we had a cool balcony. We had a shot of like the entire fireworks show, so we
Right.
just like
Very
sat
cool.
out there and watched. We're like, "This is nice." Like it's like we can just play our own music, or we're just like, and I don't know. I feel like that cheered us up, and especially just since we had like 2 down days, it was like, yeah, this is our moment. This is when we're supposed to be hyped up, and then just like carried it through. But it was cool that they had a fireworks show. I'm
Yeah,
like that.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you guys are like staying in, Miami, so do you typically have, I should ask this in the beginning, but do you typically have like a bunch of, your friends and like other athletes go into an Airbnb and kind of like do like a whole like big sleepover kind of deal?
So that's what we did, and like we've had it like in the past. Like I feel like it just like depends on just how athletes work. I mean, I love being just like in a community feel. So having like, I mean, even at the games, like we had like a whole house, the whole team, and like and like some of our spectators, and just like the entire family, and like that's what I love because like at the end of the day, like it's like we can unwind, we can talk about things other than CrossFit.
Yes.
Purely that there was snow in Charlotte and all of them were from Charlotte. um, and just have fun, unwind, and just still like make this like a vacation feel. So that's how we operate, and I like I said, I love that. But I mean, there was the hotel right next to the venue. My friends from West Chase, they're all in that hotel, and
Mhm.
like they just had like a couple rooms, and pack people in. So I think it just like I think it depends. It depends on if you want to be like super close to the venue, if you want to like try to get an Airbnb, because they can be like sometimes kind of sketchy. So or you just stay at the same place you normally do, like if you do an Airbnb.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite restaurant down there?
Okay, so there's two. One is just salty donut.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I only will eat donuts from there. We and I probably had like 7 on Sunday night. They're so good. And I'm not exaggerating too. Like the one thing that I was sad about when we had like a whole community in our little Airbnb was the fact that we got like 2 dozen donuts, and I look in the box and I was like, no, there's like hardly any donuts left. And then they're saying like, no, Hannah, there was probably maybe like 3 donuts left. And like the competitors didn't even get to eat these donuts yet.
Oh,
I
geez.
was so livid that I just ordered, or like I just looked at my teammate. I'm like, we're ordering more donuts. And then that's all we did Sunday during the rain delay. But I digress. So salty donut. And then there is a Cuban restaurant. It's like a family Cuban restaurant that is, the name of it is escaping me right now. But
Okay.
it's just, I feel like it's like just like this old 19 like 50 60 vibe, like banquet. It's just like a building, but it's like just a banquet style like dining room with tables everywhere. The meals are so delicious. They're like authentic Cuban. The paella is bomb. So like normally like it's either like the night before, because you can actually get like healthier stuff there, or just the last night. We'll go there and go to town on all the Cuban food.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I definitely have to. So my goal for next year is to make it to Wodapalooza,
Heck
maybe
yeah.
do the gauntlet, or the main thing is get on Radio Row.
Oh yes, you have to.
So I guess they had Radio Row available, but the problem was it was so loud that a lot of the guys that were supposed to do podcasts weren't able to do it because the background noise was just like overpowering, like trying to talk to people.
Yeah,
So
man. I know that there was one podcast that kept going on. One of my sponsors was on it, and I don't know if it was maybe because they were kind of like tucked maybe by like where the spectator workout area was.
mhm.
But it was like, at least in 2020, there was like the podcast area was in the middle of Vendor Village. So you could actually just like sit there and watch them have a podcast, which was also super cool because like I just like watched like Chris Henshaw, or like the Misfit Athletics podcast got to like just stay there and do an episode, which was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So maybe like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I wish I knew like more about the podcasting. I don't know if they need like better mics or just literally put it off like out of the way of everything. But I thought it was cool that you could actually like watch the podcast like happen in 2020.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I would love that. That's my bucket list. That's even not if I'm not on Radio Row, just being there is one of my bucket lists.
Right. No, man, no, you're going to do the gauntlet. We're going to make sure you're there next year.
All right. I'm gonna tell my wife and kids that, so.
Oh my gosh, just bring them. Oh man, there's like so many kids there.
Yeah,
It was so fun.
here's the thing. My wife has no interest in CrossFit whatsoever. So it's just like, if both of us go, she'd go off and just chill out on the beach, and then I'd be like just like dying in the gauntlet or doing something else. So, I mean, which is fine with me.
We can find people. We can just have a whole group together, and we can have people that are not in the CrossFit but want to stay in Miami. And there's at least it's in Miami, right? Like there's so much stuff to do rather than, don't get me wrong, like Madison, Wisconsin's awesome once you get there, but like if you've never been there, you're like, what is there? So like it has like, it's given like Miami is definitely like the place to go if you go anywhere.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So now I kind of want to talk about the CrossFit Open. So we have, I mean, this will probably come out I think next week. So or maybe 2 weeks, but we'll see. So it's roughly like 30 days as of right now. What do you think people should work on? I mean, granted, like you can't really improve too much in 30 days, but like what would be the one of the main thing you think would be a good idea to have people improve on before the Open?
For the Open, I mean, I don't want to just give this generic answer of just do CrossFit, but do the 7 to 15-minute time domain workouts of simple couplets or triplets that you don't have to stop moving, because normally open workouts, they're either like muscular endurance and you just can't do another rep, or when most of like the high level athletes, it's all about their aerobic capacity and what pace can they hold for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Like one that comes to mind is like the wall ball row workout in 2019.
Yeah, it was 2019. Yeah.
Yeah. And just having it's like you have your row cadence and you have your wall ball cadence. And when you're like a high level, your wall balls are always going to be unbroken. But it's like, what pace can you hold on the rower to be able to take 2 steps and immediately pick up your wall ball? So just working on just having like either complementing movements like that wall ball row. So like, yeah, your legs are going to be dead. Um, or antagonizing, just like uh, the front squat, a gymnastics pole,
Mhm.
and then a thruster.
Yeah.
So there's no need to work. I don't think like you're not going to gain like so much strength, and not necessarily to make the top 10%. You don't have to be like the strongest person. Most of the time you just have to have like a consistent weight for you and you'll be fine.
Mhm.
So my thing is just to work that traditional CrossFit. And then also, especially if you're working on like a top 10% in quarterfinals and you're like right on the line, or like sometimes you have like anxiety with like judging or shooting videos, like practice that now. I know with me is like you want to get your camera angles right. Like you want
Yeah.
to find like I have a particular judge and I want that judge. And I'm going to make sure that judge is there every Friday night lights. So like having people have eyes on you, like making people like say no rep to you and just like how do you respond? And like that's like going through those like psychological things. How are you going to warm up? How are you going to cool down? And you can just pick one workout a week to like make your open workout. You can even make it the Friday class workout. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to do my proper warm up for this. I mean, granted, it could be the class workout, but maybe coming in like a little bit before to do like some more personalized stuff. And then from there, like set up your camera, just make sure everything's aligned. And then either having the coach just like come by so often and count, or just making sure you have someone there there's probably someone at the gym. I mean, I stay at the gym 24/7 to be like, hey, can you just like count my reps and tell me if I have any no reps? So just like those little things are really good to work on now.
Yeah. So I know, well, both of us do Misfit Athletics. And
Yeah.
so shameless plug, I'm actually wearing this shirt too. So
I know I'm like, oh no, I don't have a
no, you're
shameless
good, you're
plug
good.
right now. I'm like, I have a sticker that I could like maybe like put on the screen.
So I know I've been in lockdown pretty much in my basement, and the only thing I've been doing, well, actually I did do a workout with like water jugs because I don't have a bathroom down here. So like I had to use like water jugs, like old lady water jugs kind of
Oh my
thing.
gosh, that's awesome.
For like workouts, I would do like Romanian deadlifts, like shrugs, like rows, like
Yeah.
and like then I would do like lunges and air squats, and like I take one and do like a shoulder to overhead kind of deal for like a half an hour. And then I do remember them talking about like going on a piece of equipment and being on there for like 45 minutes, like the zone 2 workouts.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for like the past couple of days. So I think it's gonna make me better endurance wise. I don't know. I mean, granted, so I mean, I think that maybe if someone for my idea, I know the 7-minute quick workouts and stuff like that will work, but do you think maybe adding like 1 or 2 days or even 3 days with the 45 minutes on a machine would like help out with their endurance and kind of make them a better CrossFit athlete?
I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, especially when it comes to the more competitive CrossFitter. I I love like all the zone 2 work that we've been doing through Misfit Athletics. I feel like I can just flush a lot better on machines, just like when it even like just comes into workouts, or my leg endurance is so much better, and it carries over more so like it carries over more than just like the lung capacity or being able to hold better splits or anything like that. So I really do benefit. I like do think people will benefit from like 1 or 2 times a week hopping on. Like I love using a C2 bike. I switch between the C2 bike, ski erg, and then running, like either on a runner or outside.
Mhm.
And just going slow. And like sometimes like at least on the C2 bike, you can keep a really fast pace, and that's really hard. And sometimes that debilitates me. but like your runs get slow, and is like, I feel like those are the most mental, because you're like, I can go so much harder. So, and I always have to come back to my breath and try to take longer breaths, longer exhales, try to get my heart rate down more so I can pick up the pace. And those things, like, they add up. Like you end up like very quickly, like being able to hold like faster paces at a low heart rate. And then like today I did a workout from one of Monday's workouts for Misfit that had burpee box jump overs and power snatches. And normally like that would be like a quad blow up workout, especially like trying to go fast on burpee box jump overs. And I felt like I could keep the same pace. I didn't fall off. Like, yes, I was still breathing hard, but like that muscular endurance was it was not good. Like I was good. I was solid. I was not going to slow down because like my legs were going to give out on me. It was like all a lungs based workout at that point. So, I mean, I would just throw it in. I mean, it could be an active recovery day, because it is a machine or running very slow, like at least in comparison to what you normally do.
Yeah.
So I think it's good just to like sprinkle in, and it definitely helps mentally, like seem like, oh man, like I have 43 minutes left.
Yep. So we have a Peloton. So I've been kind of using the without the trainer, pretty much just going on a ride to like some different country on the highway. And then like I would ride on the bike, and like the video of just like complete desert and like a street, and there's nothing else. And it's just like,
Right.
This is not fun. And like, I'm like, crap, I got like a half an hour left on this thing. And you sit there and just like suffer the whole time. And it's like, I love it. So, I mean, I love just sweating and just, suffering. So, but I think having like at least a video or something distracting you is a big help.
Yeah, no, like with me, I'll switch up like what it's like, I'll switch it up between like meters, calories, watts, because like I don't even know what that means. Like now I kind of do. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to get to 100 calories, and I'll count up to 50, and then I'll count down from 50 back to 0. And like that's how I'll do it. And I have a sense of, all right, well, if I'm in like a mid 900s, I'm around like a 203 pace, like if it's on meters. But calories are a lot less daunting, because it's like, all right, if you're going for 45 minutes on a C2 bike, oh, that's like 20. I mean, that's 22,000 meters. That like that could be just like in your mind, you're like, oh no, like I have to go that far.
Yep.
Whereas like if it's on calories, it's like, okay, I only have to get to 100. And then I'm at 1. And then I'm like, and I've known in the past, I'm like, okay, I've gotten to, let's say like I've gotten to like 700. So I only had to do that 7 times. And I play a lot of games with myself, or with the watts. I'm like, let's just keep it above 200 and see what happens. And then most of the time, like my heart rate will like catch up to me. So I'll have to slow down. But I love playing games with myself, or like even just, I mean, I'm like still suffering, but it kind of just puts like a little fun into it. And I love games. So
yeah. Me too. Like, and especially like they have a leaderboard on like the left-hand side of the screen. So you're sitting there like, oh, there's a dude in his 60s that's like five, power outputs more than me. I'm gonna smoke his ass. And so just it's like it's good to have that, and there's like bad. It's bad to have it too, because you're trying to stay in zone 2, and then you're looking like you have like you're in 100th place, and you have like 50 you have the 50 more power output, like your numbers left, and it's like you got like 2 minutes left. Of course you're gonna go all out, but I'm like, you're just like gotta like hold it back. You're like, no, I cannot do that. Zone 2.
Right.
Zone 2.
So I think in like the zone 2, especially if I was in like that Peloton environment, I would just be probably like a 180 the entire time.
Yes, I agree.
Or like even like sometimes when I do the zone 2 work with my friends, and it depends. Like some of my friends are like in their 30s, and they're just like, I hate that, like I can, like my heart rate can go like a little bit, like almost like 10 beats higher than them. And they're like, I can't go as fast. So they get mad. So they end up just going at my heart rate. Or like now I'm kind of experiencing it with some like up and comers at our gym. And I'm like, I can't go as fast as you, but I know I'm fit. and I want to keep up with you, but
Yep.
it's like a stay in your lane. So normally I have to like I have a C2 bike and skier at my apartment, and I just go to town. I might like roll it outside of my apartment so I get some vitamin D, but like I can't do it with anybody else. It's just me, so I can just deal with me. Or if people like start talking to me, then like my heart rate's at like 115
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
either I talk at 115 or I don't talk at all at like a 125 heart rate. Like I hyperventilate. So
Yeah.
it's a lot easier for me to maybe like stay away and
No,
get
I hear
out of the
that.
competitiveness, just stay in
Yeah.
my calorie game.
So funny story about the row that when you talked about the rowing wall ball workout, the open workout we did.
Yeah.
So I did it. I think I don't remember how many rounds I got. It was a good amount. So because I'm like 6'6", so it helps
Oh
me.
yeah, you're like right there. It's like a little like
Yeah. So like
little, like
I
volleyball
won't even
shot for
I'll
you.
just barely touch it. I'll just like, but I've tried to like, throw my arms up and kind of relax and try to catch it, but I'm like so tall, I can't do that. So it's
Yeah.
I have to hold it and just like constant do that. But anyway, so the next morning I wake up and I try to get out of bed and I'm like, oh my God, my quads were so stiff. And then I pick up my son, my daughter wasn't born at the time. Um, I pick up my son and and I look at the steps and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get down with
Oh my gosh.
holding my son and going down the steps. This is going to be impossible. And
Yeah.
so him and I sat on the steps and just kind of slid down on the way because I couldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I could do it if I could walk sideways or whatnot. It was like, there's no way. I was like, I was sore for like the whole weekend. I couldn't do anything.
Oh my gosh. That workout, I for a short person, like I'm like 5'4" on a good day. I absolutely love that workout. And I remember doing it Friday, and I think I just like didn't like that all the guys at the gym beat me. And of course the guys are gonna beat me, right?
Mhm.
But I was so competitive that I'm like, no, I am going to sell my soul again. Even though like you, I could not squat the next day. But I'm like, it's fine. It's easy. I just do it again. Like just do the same movements and just flush out the body, right? But like, with open intensity. And I like got 3 more reps, and I don't even know how that was possible. And I just I don't even think I moved for the next like 3 days.
Yeah, they wanted me to redo it on Monday. I'm like, there's no way, no way,
No,
no,
like
impossible.
that was one of the workouts where I don't know if I ever want that to come up again. Even
Yeah.
though I love those movements, I was so close to failing a wall ball in like the last 3 rounds. Like I just remember like reps 13 through 15. I was like, I'm not gonna physically get out of the squat.
Yeah.
And then like I would get back to the rower. I'm like, I have to hold the same pace, but I just almost failed a wall ball. Like I don't know how I'm gonna keep it. But it was something crazy. Actually, at West Chase tomorrow, we have open the 20.1, the ground to overhead bar facing burpee workout
Okay.
program.
Yeah.
And that was my best open workout to date. I am terrified to do that workout because I'm like, I don't want to go slower, of course, but I don't know if I'll ever go as fast as I did in that workout, like ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very terrified. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to show up to the gym, but I actually have a new teammate, and she's going to be there. It's our first official training day together, and she also did very well in that workout. So I think we're going to try to murder each other tomorrow.
Okay. Well, the one workout that I think I excelled at, well, actually there was like one. So it was the chest to bar like thruster workout.
Oh yeah, no, I
Like
know.
like when ascending and like
Yeah.
that was the one that I completely sold my soul to. Like there was no like I got it done. I was like laying against the wall. I didn't feel comfortable there. I went on all fours, didn't feel comfortable. I sat down on a box and I'm like, I didn't feel comfortable there either. And it was like I've never ever felt like that before. Never. And I'm like, I had to get up and walk outside, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do with myself. Like I was just in
Right.
a complete mess. So that was, and I think I made it to like the 18th round.
Oh my gosh.
So like, it was like, I finished the thrusters and I started the 18 chest to bars, and I think I made it
Yeah.
to like one thruster, one or two thrusters. And I was like, oh my God. And everyone was like, that was amazing. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. I was like so uncomfortable
Right.
for like the whole hour.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Like this is what we do. Like we pay $20 to CrossFit for, luckily now it's 3 weeks,
Yes.
but 3 weeks of pain and suffering to be on the leaderboard with everyone in the world, which is also like, that's like the cool part, right?
Yep.
Is like, I mean, it's so cool that literally everyone in the world that does CrossFit does the same workout in a 4-day time span, and everyone feels that feeling that everyone's go through. Everyone is trashed by thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups. Like that one destroyed me. The 33, 27, 21, 15, 9 one killed me.
Yep. I remember
Every
that.
variation of that workout has destroyed my soul. Like it's so hard to replicate that. But that's why I love the open. Like all of us can come together and feel the same exact way about a workout. And it's so cool, like seeing just like the people who just do the hour CrossFit a day, like put like that much more intensity, or they're like, wow, I didn't think I was capable of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you are, because you're fit. You come in here, you put the work in, and when people are just yelling your name and cheering you on, like that helps a bunch, and you're capable of a lot more than you think you are.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting close to actually we are close to the end. So I thank you for your time, and I do appreciate it. I don't want to take too much of your time, but
No, of course.
I know last time I talked to you was last year. So I still have some of the same questions, but what are your, obviously like making it past the open, the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then like make it to the games, but obviously you're in your clinicals too as well. So do you have any other goals that you have that you want to accomplish like for this year?
I want to graduate. That'd be nice. That's a really big goal of mine. That's in December, unless like I fail a class this semester. My goals, really, I mean, for my life, like I said, graduate, just learn how to be the clinician I want to be, and be confident in myself like as a clinician, because I feel like I'm way more confident as a coach and a athlete than a clinician. It's just because I haven't put the reps in like I have in those aspects. So that's a goal of mine, at least in that world. And then for this season, again, it's to make the CrossFit Games. Like, of course, that's going to be my goal. And I get to do it with 3 new people and have a blast. And I can't wait to just, make the same relationships I have with my other teammates, but with, 3 other people that I have all the faith in the world. And I cannot be more excited about this season.
Very cool. Very cool. So, do you have another favorite book?
All right. Favorite new,
Or what are you reading? Obviously, other than like PT, books, like what else are you reading?
Right now I'm actually reading Matt Fraser's book.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
We're at the same time. Yeah, I'm almost done with it.
Yeah. I am not almost done with it. I'm pretty sure I'm like on chapter like 2 or 3.
Oh,
But I'll read it like whenever I can. So I'm reading that, and then I'm actually reading Will Smith's biography.
dang, we are so much alike. I literally have it in that closet right over
Oh,
there.
no way.
Just waiting after the Fraser book. So
Heck yeah. No, but man, look at us.
yeah, very cool. You should read the Matthew McConaughey book. That one's really good too.
Oh my gosh, I listened to it on audiobook just
Oh, you
because I
did?
knew
Okay.
he narrated it.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Oh, it is so good. I only do like biographies on Audible, and it's only when like the person's actually narrating it.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh my gosh, it is so cool, like just hearing his story from him.
Yep.
That I'll just like play a random chapter in the car like every now and then. But that was such a great book.
Yeah, I agree. So do you have anything new in your gym bag?
Oh man, something new in my gym bag. I don't think so. I wish I could say something. I have new wristbands from Sharpen the Axe
Oh,
that,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the newest thing. Other than that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
So I'm not sponsored by them, but we are both big fans of this company. So I got a new gym bag. I actually got two, but I'm returning the other one because it's like ginormous. But I did get the Bear Palm Complex commuter bag. So I have the other one, the bigger version of it, and it looks it's just way too big for me. Like I'm a 6'6" guy, but it looks like I'm like going on a trail hike. So I just can't do it.
I mean, you could be like me, and I mean, I literally bring 3 bags to the gym. Like I'll have like I'll probably have like 2 gym bags and then like something with like supplements in it. And with that bag, you have all you need to live at the gym for like a week.
Yeah, true. I do like the inside compartment with the Velcro in it.
That sounds really nice.
So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a whole like unopening, like a YouTube video, because I'm a big fan of that bag. So, but anyway, I'm not sponsored, but they should sponsor this podcast. Just saying.
I mean, I highly recommend. I mean, they have the best grips on the planet.
Yep,
I cannot use any other grip.
Yep.
Oh yes,
I have everything except for knee sleeves. That's all them. So
I do have knee sleeves. Can recommend.
Yes.
Recommend.
I've had those before, and I do like them as well. So what we already did that one. So we already did that one. So so this is the last one. So where can people reach out to you if they have any questions with anything?
Yeah, no. So they Instagram's probably the best place. It's at Go So Hardy. So I'm pretty much on there trying to procrastinate school. So please come bother me. Please come talk to me about Wodapalooza, the Open, getting into competing, Misfit, just life. I mean, I love just talking about anything and everything. So feel free to reach out on Instagram.
Yeah. And also Misfit, you should sponsor this podcast too as well. We have both Misfit athletics, and I interview all the athletes from Misfit too. So just FYI, Drew, you hearing this? You hearing me?
We will send you this episode, and you're at Bear Complex and Misfit contacting you.
Yes. Hopefully we'll see.
Yes.
Well, thank you for doing this once again. I do appreciate it. And obviously I would love to have you back on, later on down the road, see how life's going with you with school, clinics and all that stuff, and like how your training's going.
Heck yeah, I would love to. Maybe we can like reach out after quarters, semis, heck, the games, like any of it. So, or
maybe,
just like
maybe I'll be at the games. Who knows?
Oh my gosh, you should come. It's not like Miami, we'll say, but Madison has some pearls there.
Yes, I've heard.
Yes.
Well, thank you, and we'll talk later. Okay.
All right, sounds good.